Welcome to Proverbs 31 Creatives. My name is Brianna Coleman. I'm so excited for this new chapter in my walk with the Lord. My goal with this podcast is to encourage other women to grow their creativity, entrepreneurship, finances, life, health, and most importantly, grow closer to Jesus. I'll be having conversations with guests with anointed women in faith and learning right along with you. Are you ready to start your journey to become the creative Proverbs 31 woman you've always wanted to be? All right, let's go. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Proverbs 31 Creatives. I'm your host, Brianna Coleman. Today is going to be such a fun day. I am joined with someone who I am so blessed to call one of my amazing friends, Mikayla Barnes. She is the founder of 1008. She is the host of Cozy and Thriving, awesome content creator, a fantastic editor, and like I said, a wonderful friend of mine. So Mikayla, welcome to Proverbs 31 Creatives.
Hi, everybody. I'm so excited to be here.
We are in our cozy sweatshirts today. She is in her podcast
Yes.
brand merch, and I am in conference merch. So she's in her cozy era. I am, if I
For sure.
perish, I perish, and a nice Esther quote in there for us. So
Yes.
Mikayla, go ahead, tell us a little bit about you, and we will go on from there.
Well, everybody, my name is Mikayla. I am a podcaster. I always say that I'm an introvert that likes to talk because I truly enjoy my own company. I love being at home, but at the same time, I feel like I have a lot to say and I just want to share what's on my heart. I have been married for 5.5 years, almost six in October. And fun fact, I got married the day before my birthday. So my birthday is October 8th and I got married October 7th. So that's just a little fact about me.
Yeah, so we both actually got married in October. So she's like, I think we're like a week apart because I was the 14th. So
Okay, yep, yep. I think I remember that.
And it's so cool. Like we were talking, just getting to know each other, our stories of even how we grew up. Like we have so many similarities in our personalities, and even to the point we found out, or I found out not too long ago, you were even going to be named Brianna. So that's just wild
Yeah.
that like how many
Yeah.
similarities we have. So
Right.
tell us a little bit about your relationship with the Lord, like how
Mhm.
did you grow up, all the things.
Yeah. So I grew up in the church. I would say that I was like born into it, literally. My grandpa was the pastor
Oh,
of the church that I grew up in, and I feel like just at a young age, I've always loved Jesus. I've always like loved what he's done for us, but I don't think that it was until I got into my adult years that I really made my faith my own. Just like riding on the backs of my grandparents and my mom, and their faith, which I'm so thankful for. But when I graduated high school, I got into a relationship that was just like completely not for me. I should have never been in that relationship. It tempted me more than I should have been tempted. I just was like emotionally and I would say mentally just like drained from that relationship. And it really like took me away from the Lord and showed me how much I actually need Him. And I remember one night driving home from like being with Him and just being like, Lord, if you can help me get out of this relationship, I will serve you for the rest of my life.
mm,
Um, and He did. And so I have been ever since. And I think that it's cool now because I get to see how the Lord works in my life through my own faith and not just like riding on the backs of others.
yeah, and that's so
Yeah.
powerful. And I think when you have that moment, for those of us who have been, we're raised in church, and you have that moment and you
Yeah.
realize that your relationship with the Lord is yours. It's not your
Yeah.
parents or your grandparents or the people in your family. Like you're not riding, like you
Yeah.
said, riding on their coattails. You step
Yeah.
over that threshold and you say, Jesus, I'm choosing you for myself. And I think that's so
Right.
powerful, especially as
Yeah.
somebody who was raised in church, and he makes
Yeah.
it he makes a relationship with you like so personal. And when he does that,
Hmm.
like he talks to me different than he talks to you. Like everybody is different in how he
Yeah.
ministers, and it's so awesome. So how has your relationship with the Lord grown and changed and shifted over the years?
Yeah, well, I really think that I really learned how to, I think, hear his voice
Hmm.
through just allowing myself to like just be moved by him. And what I mean by that is like he would tell me specific things to do and I would just do it right then and there. And he was like, yes, that was me. Or there's sometimes where like I would be like, was that you? And I would like start to do it, but then he would like make it abundantly clear, like, no, that's not what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
So I think the biggest shift I think I had in my life was when I didn't go to college like right out. I did go to college right out of high school, but then I dropped out. And
Mhm.
then he told me to go back to school. And I was like, okay, Lord, like, where do you want me to go? And he showed me the school to go to. It was, I moved away from my family, my friends. Like, I started completely over. And like looking back, I'm like, wow, why was I not more scared to do that? Like I was moving away from everything I've ever known, but it
Yeah.
was because I had his peace. And I think like just knowing like, okay, having his peace, I can do anything like he tells me to do.
Yeah.
And so that was like the biggest turning point. And I think it really makes it so much easier to walk with him because I know when I have your peace, like I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Like you, we really can do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
amen. How does he, I know for me, he talks to me more visually and not
Hmm.
so much of like audibly, but like I'll begin to get like downloads and discernment and things like that. So how does he speak to you?
I am a big advocate for journaling.
Yeah.
Um, if you were to go through like my journals, I write my prayers and everything in black, but then I will take a red pen when I feel he's starting to talk to me. And it's cool to like go back and look at it and be like, oh, yeah, that is like that's coming to pass now, or like, oh, I'm still working through that, but I can see why he said that then. So I really am just like a big advocate for journaling, and that's usually the way that he'll talk to me.
I love that. I need to
Yeah.
get better at being more purposeful with journaling. Like I will journal, like say after like he speaks to me through a dream or like I
Hmm.
have an encounter at either a conference or in my quiet time. Like but I need to get better at being more purposeful with journaling.
Yeah.
How has he guided and shifted you in your business? Because I know that you and I talk about this a lot, like just texting and stuff like that.
Hmm.
As far as like hustle culture. So this is what I
Hmm.
really wanted to talk to you about today is with our theme of intentional living. I know for me, a huge
Yeah.
part of my testimony is hustle culture and burnout. And this is a
Yeah.
topic that I have wanted to talk about for a while. And I
Hmm.
knew I had to bring you on to talk about this because there's just something about being intentional with how you do business and surrendering your business to the
Yeah.
Lord and not operating out
Yeah.
of hustle culture, burnout, and working with the Lord. Like I talk about creating with the Lord, but
Yeah.
working with the Lord in our day to day in our business and things like that. So I would love to have you talk about that.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I truly, this is something that like I still to this day, I think it's so easy to fall into
Mhm.
wanting to be in that hustle culture, and not like waiting on the Lord, just
Yeah,
because there's so many like sources out there like ChatGPT, and like you have all of the people that talk about content creation or building a business or whatever. So you're just like constantly consuming
yeah,
and you're wanting to do it right then and there. But I've learned that when I take all of that knowledge, because I'm like, there's resources out there for a reason, but I take all of those resources and I say, okay, Lord, like, how do I execute this? Like, how do
yeah,
you want me to do this so that way I'm not burnt out? I'm not going over and above what I'm supposed to be doing. And just even like allowing him to like protect your finances in that way too, because you can also just be like, I want this, I want that, and like start buying all these things and investing in so much and it not really be what he wants for you.
Right.
And he can guide you through all of that.
Hmm. Yeah, and I mean, he can give you business strategy. He can give you that direction.
Yeah.
It's a matter of what I've found is it's a matter of turning off the distractions and just like focusing and realigning your focus directly to him. Um,
Yeah.
so, and I know you have your cozy era sweatshirt.
Yeah.
What does cozy living, what does that mean? What does that mean to you? What does your brands and all that kind of fun stuff mean to you?
Yeah. I, like I said at the beginning, I'm such a homebody, so I love to just be at home.
Wow.
But it also just like slow living, I think a lot of people think it's like, oh, you have a farm and chickens and, wear pretty dresses and like, have no care in the world. And
Yeah.
like, if that's your life, like, cool, I'm happy for you, but that's just not me. So I wanted to be able to like share my life and share with other people, like, it's
Mhm.
okay to take your time. It's okay to find a slower rhythm in life. And we don't always have to follow the what society says to do or the culture. Like if you think all of our lives, it's like, okay, you go to school because you need an education, because you have to go to college, because you have to have a good job, because you have to make a lot of money. And it's like this constant like pushing, go, go, go. And it's like, can I just take a break really quick? Let me
Yeah.
just like sit back and like really, one, hear what the Lord wants for me, but also just like, I just need a breath
Yeah.
because society's constantly telling me what I have to do and I
Mhm.
can't even take a break for myself. So
Yeah.
that's kind of what this like cozy era, slow living era is for me.
Hmm. Yeah, and I think especially when you are going after, and I'm not saying like going to college and getting a job and doing that kind of thing is chasing after the world, but when
Yeah.
I think when you are constantly reaching for that next milestone, you're constantly reaching for that. It's almost like a rat race. Like I don't want to
Yeah.
like kind of like the corporate ladder, like when people are chasing after that corporate ladder, when you are
Yeah.
constantly and like never satisfied and you are constantly wanting the next thing, I think that also ties back to not being obviously not being rooted in Christ and like what he wants for you. But
Yeah.
go down to like identity issues and things like that and like what does God want for my life? What does he
Yeah.
want? What is the plan that he wants for my life? And so just being purposeful, and that's why I really wanted to talk about intentional living this month. And there's so many different aspects of being intentional. How are
Yeah.
how are you intentional outside of like hustle culture and all that kind of fun stuff? How are you like
Yeah.
something that you do that you make sure you are intentional about?
Hmm. So, being a entrepreneur working for yourself, it's so easy to be like, oh, I can have all of my work right here on my phone too. So I can like be in my bed scrolling or
Yeah.
doing stuff in my bed or whatever. And so I really make it a point to one, not work from my bed, but
Yeah.
also when I start my work day at 10 and I like cut everything off at 6. I'm like, I'm not gonna like do anything work related. If a client texts me, I might say, "Hey, I'll do that tomorrow," but I'm not like trying to fix it right in the moment or keep working. I really value my time and I think that everybody's time is so valuable and I don't want I can be my biggest like pushover, but like I don't want me to like cross the boundary of my time or other people to cross the boundary of my time. So
Yeah.
I really have to like set those boundaries and like all of my clients know like I don't work Sundays. Don't ask me to do anything. Don't ask me to check a video. Like I'm just completely off on Sundays because again, needing that rest, needing that time just to like recoup and just not hustling, not feeling like I have to do something right in the moment.
Yeah. For say those entrepreneurs that are listening, or freelancers or what have you that are listening and they do not have
Hmm.
boundaries, what would you say to them?
Hmm.
What would you give them tips on how to start implementing boundaries?
Hmm. I definitely think that my like I boundaries are different for everybody.
Yeah.
So I personally don't want to work. I say 48 hours because I do work a little bit on Saturdays, but I don't want to work over that hour limit. But
Yeah.
if you're like, I'm fine working 60 hours a week, or I only want to work 20 hours a week, like whatever it is, like set those boundaries for yourself
Mhm.
and let all the people in your life, whether they're clients or friends or family, whatever, like just let them know this is what I'm doing, because you'll see how people will stop asking you to do certain things on certain days, or people won't um, message you, or if you just stop responding on those days, like people will be like, okay, I get the point. She doesn't work this day, or she's, busy or whatever. Like it won't be people just walking all over you.
Yeah. And I think for a
Yeah.
long time, especially when I first started my social media management business, I was such a
Hmm.
people pleaser, a pushover. Like I would,
Yeah.
yes, girl, like I did anything, I went above
Yeah.
and beyond. And I think starting out in business, sometimes you do need to be a little bit of a people pleaser, but then I think there comes a time when you need to set those boundaries. Otherwise, it's not
Yeah.
going to be sustainable. It's not going to be, you are going to burn out
Yeah.
so quick. So just kind of like trying to find that like fine line of,
Yeah.
okay, I want
Yeah.
to make my clients happy, but I also need to like stay sane. So
Yeah, right. Because
like,
once you burn out, yeah, you'll like burn out and then not be able to execute the next thing. You'll be
yeah,
like, oh my gosh, I can't even function to do
yeah,
this next thing that they're asking me to do. But I agree, you want to be like accommodating and like
right.
say hi, yes, and all the things to your clients. But yeah, it is a balancing game for sure.
Yes, it is. And so, one of the amazing perks of being your friend, I have seen your business go from an idea, like, hey, I think I'm gonna do this, to
Yeah,
literally, oh my gosh, I'm like booked out, I'm busy, I'm like, my thread just took off, which by the way, shout out
yeah,
Instagram threads, that's how we met.
yes,
Um,
right. Love
and
Instagram threads.
yes. But like your threads have taken off. Your
Yeah.
business is incredible. Tell us how did that start? How did that come about? All the things.
Yeah. It's so crazy because, little backstory, I used to run a press on nail business,
Yeah.
and I ran it for 3.5 years and saw like very, very little success. Like I had maybe one or two like clients that would come back, or customers, I guess they would be called, come back. But then like it would just be kind of like I'm buying all this stuff and like trying to like make my stuff look good,
Yeah.
and I was like, this is just not working for me. I got very burnt out because I was working all the time for literally nobody. But like, it was just like one of those things where um, I just wasn't supposed to be doing it. It was definitely a hobby, and I'm glad that I did it because it got me where I am.
Mhm.
But then when I did the Instagram threads post, it was literally just supposed to be like, I was like, I can edit, I'm doing content creation, like it would be nice to have like a little extra money here and there. And so when I posted it on threads, I was like, hey, just in case like anybody needs an editor, hey, I'm here.
Yeah.
And from that threads post, I don't think anybody has found me anyplace else. Like
Wow.
it's literally just been on that threads post, but I truly like believe that it was the Lord who planted the seed. And again, like I said, okay, well, I'm just going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to put it out there, and you saw his favor
Yeah.
on it. And I love all of my clients. They're all amazing people and doing amazing things. So it's just cool. He even brought the right people, and the
Yeah.
ones that weren't right, he weeded out. Like it's
Amen.
that when you're following in his footsteps and following in his path, he'll do that for you.
Yes, and I love
Yeah.
that. I love the fact that even in your obedience of just like, okay, I hear you, God. Like I'm gonna take action on this. And
Hmm.
it has been so beautiful to watch it go from a simple idea to just
Yeah.
a booming business.
Right.
And I love it also what you said too about how he brought the right ones to you and the other
Hmm.
ones kind of fell away. And I know for me in this past season, I had the discernment to completely shut down my social media management business for a
Yeah.
while. And I'm like, God, I don't know what this next step looks like. I don't. And then he goes and opens up crazy doors for me to have these crazy connections and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just so cool that once you do surrender that, like the doors
Yeah.
that he opens for you.
Yeah. It is amazing to watch.
So what is your favorite part about your editing business? What do you do for
Hmm.
clients?
I truly love just like connecting with people. Again, I'm such a weird introvert because I love people, but I'm just like from a distance. Like I'll stay at home, I'll talk to you over the like FaceTime or whatever. But I love connecting with them. I love hearing their stories. I love seeing what people are wanting to push, not push, but I guess like just have other people recognize like
Mhm.
things that are going on in the world. And like even just I edit for a couple of different brand designers or brand marketing strategists and things like that, and just seeing how you can brand yourself. I'm able to like learn a lot by editing for other people, and it's just really cool to see the different styles that people like.
Yeah.
I just love it all. I love it all. Seeing ideas come to life.
Yes, and
Yeah.
I know for a fact us two are going to be working on some things
Hmm.
in the future, and I'm very
Yes.
excited to collaborate. And guys, if you saw her edits, like they're so good. And I'm like, you need to teach me some like basic tricks because I can take a camera and I can film with my phone.
Hmm.
But when it comes to just adding those little extras like text on
Yeah.
screen or the way that it pops on the screen or like
Yeah.
what are some editing basics that you can share to maybe up level somebody's content?
Well, I would say playing around with different angles. I think that a lot of people just don't really know I guess like framing. And so a lot of times editing also comes from what's in camera.
Yeah,
So when you give an editor or you're editing yourself good footage, you're going to see the difference.
yeah.
I've even been doing that like with myself. One of my, I don't, you may have seen it, but the coffee video I did recently,
Yes, that was
that
so
was such
good.
a new, yeah, it was such a new edit for me. And I think a lot of it just came from trying to do different angles and things.
Yeah.
So I just really was like testing that out, and then also just testing out fonts um, over top of your videos. I know a lot of people probably use CapCut.
Yeah.
I use Instagram edits now just because it's like completely free.
Yeah.
And DaVinci Resolve for those of you who know a little bit more about editing.
Mm.
But that one's like the bigger one. But yeah, I think just like trying different angles like in camera, and then also just playing around with how you put things together and just watching a lot of reels in TikTok.
Yeah. I use
Yeah.
I use CapCut for everything.
Hmm.
Um,
Okay.
been editing the podcast. Like I have all my settings set up. I
Oh
have
yeah.
my intro music, my everything is through CapCut. So when TikTok got taken away for like
Yeah.
15 hours, I woke up
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh no, like I'm
What
gonna
am I gonna do? Yeah.
I'm gonna have to learn a brand new software like
Yeah.
fast. 'Cause at that point, I still had social media management clients, so I'm like, oh no,
Hmm.
I have deadlines this week, and I need to figure this out. So I remember texting you like, what do
Yeah.
I do?
Yeah. It is crazy. That's what I like learned at that point when everything got taken away. I was like, this is showing that we need to learn a lot of different things and a lot of different like areas because it could be taken away so quickly. Like we could just lose it all. But yeah, I think if you use CapCut, um, you use it on the computer or just like on your phone?
I use it on my desktop, and I've tried
Okay.
to teach myself DaVinci Resolve because
Yeah.
they offer a desktop version. I can't
Hmm.
edit videos on my phone. I need
Yeah.
I have
Me
a
either.
16 I have the Pro Max phone, and it's still not big enough.
Hmm.
Like, I need an iPad,
Yeah.
or I need I have a big
Yeah.
laptop too. I have the 16
Right.
Mac laptop. And
Okay. Yeah.
so I need a big screen. I don't know what it
Yeah.
is. I need to be able to move things around. I think at one
Yeah.
point, maybe this is a new product Apple needs to create, is just like something on the wall, like a large iPad on
Like
the
just
wall,
like
like
right.
a TV.
Yeah. So you're like editing
Yeah,
like this.
literally,
Yeah.
that's what I would love that. That would be great. I want large, large
Yeah.
screen. Um,
Yeah.
and so, but yeah, that is something I'm trying to teach myself DaVinci Resolve slowly.
Hmm.
That way,
Yeah.
God forbid, TikTok gets taken away again, which
Yeah.
that's hanging over our heads. I know
Yeah.
when they tried to push it another like 75 days for TikTok. Now I think it's in
Hmm.
like, I don't even know, June or something like that is now the deadline.
Yeah.
Everyone, I saw in the comments that everyone's like, okay, we can actually like kick this can down the road, or,
Right.
have this hanging over our heads. Like, we don't really know.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
yeah, I feel like it's going to be good to start learning some other softwares just in
Yeah.
case.
Yeah. Well, DaVinci is good because it's like a full-on program for free. So
Yeah.
for those of you who like to edit and want to edit in that, that's what I would suggest.
Yeah.
But I am looking into Final Cut as well.
Okay.
Um, but that one is like $300 right off the bat. So
Nice.
I don't know. I'll have to check back in. Yeah.
We'll check back to
Yeah.
that. So how does somebody work with you? Do you have availability right now, or how does that work?
Yeah. So you would go to my website. I have the packages that you can get from me. And then I also am super flexible if you're like, oh, I need a little bit more or a little bit less, like we can work in that way.
Yeah.
But you would just basically send me an email saying that you want a quote and we'll start chatting that way.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love that so much. Do you have any fun projects or anything like that coming up, coming out, all the things?
Um, Not at the moment. I think the last big project I did was the merch.
Yeah.
I did also just, I'm so glad that you saw it, but I just rebranded my podcast to Cozy and Thriving.
Yes.
Um, it was Cozy Girls Club, but I was just like, Cozy and Thriving just sounds more me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm also an advocate for change. So I will change something in a heartbeat, which
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes it's like good, sometimes it's not, but yeah.
I
So I
I'm
think that's pretty much it.
definitely not. I'm not the best
Yeah.
to change.
Hmm.
I need to sit on it for like at least 3 months before
Yeah.
which is not always the best. Like, the Lord is working with me on that, because
Yeah.
when He says act, I need to act. So that's
Yeah.
something. Delayed obedience is still disobedience. I'm learning that too.
Hmm. Yes. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Um, So, if somebody is wanting to start maybe either a YouTube channel or something along those lines, what would be some
Hmm.
tips that you have for them?
That's a good question. I I'm still like learning YouTube myself, but I definitely think like just knowing your brand, like what you want to stand for, what your values are, things like that. Because if you're just like posting anything and everything random and like under the sun, it's going to be hard to like find a community. And I'm really big on just like building a community over following because a lot of followers looks nice and like makes you look successful, but like
Yeah.
when you have a community of people, it's something that I think is long lasting. And so I would
Mhm.
just make sure that you have your your personal brand ready to go before starting YouTube.
Yes, and
Yeah.
branding is so important. I did a
Hmm.
video or a episode on that in April for creativity and
Hmm.
productivity theme, and I love branding. I can nerd out on branding so
Yeah.
so much. And I think
Yeah.
that's why I just love your brand because everything looks so good. It looks so precise and concise,
Thank you.
in line and all the things. Um,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Yeah, I love it. All the things. Um, and so if we have anybody listening that is maybe in a season of burnout, what would you say to encourage them biblically as far as how to overcome that?
Well, for one, I would just start reading the Bible. I literally love the Bible so much.
Yeah.
I also people will like come to my house and be like, if you know the rapture were to happen like tomorrow, like go to Michaela's house because she has all the Bibles. But I love it so much, and right now I'm reading through, which is actually crazy, Proverbs.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, so it just has like a lot of wisdom and a lot of like honestly, like it's so weird, but like practical advice to
Mhm.
just like living your life and getting out of that like burnout stage. So I would definitely recommend that or Psalms, or any book of the Bible, really. I just, like I said, I just really like it.
Yeah.
Um, but like practical, I would just say like start doing things that you actually love to do. I think that once you get out of the burnout stage, or
Mhm.
sorry, once you get into the burnout stage, to get out of it, doing things that you enjoy, doing things that don't have to do with work or whatever you're burnt out from, just kind of helps you get that creativity back and that drive back to want to do what you set yourself up to do. And so I think that would be my advice to somebody.
Hmm. Yeah, and just finding the joy again of like for me
Yeah.
when I was in network marketing, like I was creating constantly. I was creating content constantly. I
Yeah.
had a rule like with myself that I would never not go a day without posting on my Instagram stories. I would, post if I could post every day, I did. Like I posted at least 5 times a week. Like it was sincerely like I went through such a period of burnout that I didn't even post on Instagram. I think I posted on Instagram in 2022 like 3 times,
Hmm.
and one of those was when I got married. Like
Oh,
it was
wow.
not it
Yeah.
was like I went from 100 miles per hour to like
Yeah.
2. And
Yeah.
so I was just trying to find, and that's a season that I'm in right now, is finding the
Hmm.
joy of creating again. And so that's why
Yeah.
like even this podcast has been such a tool for me that the Lord has used for creating again. And so
Yeah.
and that's why I think I just love your brand is that it really just speaks to like where I was to where I am
Hmm.
now, and
Yeah.
I love it. So I just encourage
Yeah.
you to keep going with that. So
Yeah. Thank you.
you're
That
welcome.
is very encouraging to hear.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
Because I'm, oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Oh, I think that with like content and things, we can really feel like we have to like play catch up with everybody else. And so
Yep.
it's like so easy to do what you said, like going 100 miles an hour, posting 7 days out of the week. And like, I think the best form of consistency is finding what you can actually be consistent with. And if that's literally once a month, like just post once a month.
Yep.
But being in that consistent stage, of what your consistency looks like and not what others looks like, it can really help um, prevent that burnout.
Yeah, for sure. And
Yeah.
I'm even finding that in the gym. And I know you and I
Hmm.
kind of even talked about, and I haven't even I haven't even updated this on a solo episode. I was going to
Hmm.
not the episode after this one comes out. I was going to talk about this, but I did not even, I got like 5 or 6 days into 75 hard, and
Oh
I
yeah.
completely I just stopped because unfortunately the Lord convicted me of an all or nothing mindset. And so
Mm,
I
yeah.
am finding that balance of instead of doing 2 workouts a day for 75 days, I am
Yeah.
consistency for me is 4 days a week. And
Hmm.
that is something that I'm looking at. I'm taking that perspective and putting it into every area of my life. Like, okay,
Yeah.
maybe I'm not posting on Instagram 7 days a week, but hey, I can do 2 to 3. This is something
Yeah.
that's more, way more realistic, and it's quality over quantity. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah,
Yeah. That's something I tell my husband all the time. I'm like, I want my stuff to be quality, and if I have to compromise in any way, I'm not keeping that quality. And like you said, even in like working out, I feel like I've never been able to be like this consistent with working out because it's just like I'm like trying to compete with other people,
yeah,
and I'm not doing what my body needs. I'm not doing what I can do.
yeah.
And I just recently have started like this program that will help, that like helps me stay on track, helps me stay consistent.
Hmm.
And for me, that's 3 days a week.
Yeah,
So like yours was 4, mine was 3. So everybody's different, and you have to find that for you.
right, absolutely.
Yeah.
And you can also invite the Lord into that process, whatever that would look like. Like, God,
Hmm.
what does that what does that look like? What does that consistency look like? And he will
Yeah.
definitely help you out with that. Um, in that another aspect of surrender in different areas of our life.
Yeah.
Um, and so wrapping up, I always ask every guest these 2 questions. Number one,
Okay.
what is your favorite book in the Bible?
I would say it changes all the time. Like right now, I probably would say Proverbs, but that's just because I'm reading it.
Yeah.
But I think I consistently go back to Ruth,
Very good.
just because of her like obedience to the Lord. And I even have like gotten this revelation of like Ruth wasn't clinging to Naomi just because she loved Naomi, but there was like a promise that she was connected with when she
Wow.
married into her, into that family, and
Yeah.
she didn't want to lose that connection with God because that was God's people at the time. So she was like, I'm going to do what you do because I want your God to be my God.
Amen.
And so that like that obedience to the Lord and that drive to want to stay with him and be with him throughout the circumstances that happen, I just really love that.
Yes. Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and I also heard a sermon about Orpah and how she kissed that promise goodbye, and that
Oh
was
yeah.
so good as well. And
Hmm.
so that's cool how you had that perspective with Ruth. I love that so much.
Yeah.
There's so much to that story. Like, there's so many different layers. I know that
Yeah.
I have single friends that are looking for their Boaz. So
Right.
they
Yeah.
love they love Ruth as well. But
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. It's funny because I probably before I got married would have loved Ruth for that reason. I'm like, oh, if I stay with God, He's gonna give me my husband or whatever. But then, like, when once you're on the other side of it, like marriage
Yeah.
is so awesome. But once you're on the other side of it, you're like, oh, that's not even the most important part of the story.
Yeah.
Like the most important part of the story is to be connected with God and to stay in step with Him, and He wants to fulfill the desires of your heart. He wants to, be the one to provide for you. So continue looking for your Boaz, but also continue staying on the path that God has for you.
Yes, amen. That's so
Yeah.
good. And last question, what is your favorite book that is not in the Bible but has helped you in some way, whether that be life, marriage, business, getting closer to the Lord, all the things?
Hmm. Um, that's a good question because I feel like as I love the Bible so much, that's really hard for me to like read other books
Yeah,
that aren't like I guess like pleasure books, like just like at Barnes and Noble or whatever.
yeah.
But I think that there is a devotional by somebody who I grew up going to church with.
Okay.
Her name is Jean Watson. She is also like a worship leader,
Hmm.
and she has a devotional called Everything Can Change in 40 Days.
Nice.
Or I think it's just everything can change, but it's a 40-day devotional. One of the two. But yeah, it's really cool to see how like she just kind of like talked about her life and the things that she's done and how in throughout those 40 days, like the Lord can change your heart. He can change your perspective. He can change the way that you see life. And I just think that that's one of the biggest things that I take in my life is that change is good and change can happen,
Yeah.
even throughout marriage, even throughout business, throughout content creation, all of the things like change will happen and it's not a bad thing. So not to get stuck on, oh, I found the way that it works and then just like be there for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Um, because change will really take you higher places than you could ever imagine when you do it His way.
Oh, that's so good. And
Yeah.
our word for the year is altitude and climbing higher with the Lord. And so that fits right in there.
Oh,
So
that's cool. That's really cool.
I will
Yeah.
put that in the show notes as well. Um,
Okay.
so where can everybody find you? Where can they possibly book you? Shout yourself
hmm
out.
Okay. On YouTube, Instagram, Threads, TikTok if you want to. I'm not really active on there just because of everything that's going on, but TikTok, everything is it's Mikayla Barnes.
Mhm.
Um, just my name with it's in front of it. And then to book me, I'll give you the link because it's also kind of like a weird
Yeah,
thing, but it's 1008 in numbers creations dot square dot site.
gotcha.
So you can book me there. And yeah, I also my podcast is also on Spotify and Apple as well, but I have it on YouTube too.
Yes.
So wherever you want to listen.
Right. Yes.
Yes.
Well, I will put all of that information in the show notes, you guys. Go book Mikayla, go follow her, go support her work, subscribe to her YouTube channel, all the things you can stay up to date with her. Mikayla, it was
hmm
so much fun having you on the show today in our cozy sweatshirts, and it's just
Yes.
so good. It's actually raining and disgusting and cold and storming, and so this was perfect that we
Yeah.
did this. I'm like,
That's such cozy weather.
yeah, exactly. I want to go make a cup of coffee and, work for my clients
Right.
today. So,
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's not storming here, but it is like I think it's like 60 degrees, and so
oh,
it just feels really nice.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
wet and 50 here. So that sounds really nice.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That's so funny.
well, thank you so much for coming on today, and you are welcome back anytime.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Of course. I hope this episode blessed you today. If it did, please rate and review the show. It helps grow the podcast to reach more Proverbs 31 creatives just like you. Don't forget to follow the show so you'll automatically be notified when the next episode drops. I'll be praying for you. See you next week.